He's alive. He's alive. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to all of y'all. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live. Welcome to the Halloween episode. Yeah, Halloween's coming up on Thursday, so we had to do something a little Halloweeny, right? So welcome to the episode. Welcome to all y'all. Let me start off big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, love Big Brother, love all you guys that hang out with me on Monday nights. And I love me some Halloween candy. Absolutely. I love everything about Halloween. It's always been a fun holiday. We'll talk about that a little bit. Running a little bit late. Sorry about that. I had a delegation from Japan in today that I was having to host and show off some stuff and things like that. It's always cool working with people from other countries and learning a little bit about their cultural and business etiquette and making sure that you don't do anything that's going to offend them and all of that. I've only been to Japan once, a cool place, but anyway, got to do that. But I'm so glad I'm here with y'all this evening. Welcome to again episode number 200 of the show. Let me just start off with let me do this first. Big Brother season's over. Now we're into the off season, so kind of we're open for anything y'all want to talk about. But along with that, I'm not doing my morning recaps right now, so it may be a good idea for those of you who haven't already done so to consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, hitting the old thumbs up. I need one of those little buttons that comes over here. Subscribe now. Subscribe now. Yeah, it's too fancy for me. I'll figure out. But anyway, please, if you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to the channel because who knows when and what kind of videos I may be posting as we get into this off season for the rest of the year and on into next year. So think about that, and I appreciate it. Welcome to those of you who are live. Welcome to those of you who are watching on replay also. With that being said, I want to see who's out here because I already saw a lot of conversation bouncing back and forth. Some having to do with me and some of it just completely random. I love seeing it. I love knowing that we're a family out here. Everyone gets to chat and just has fun on these Monday nights. So we'll start off with Lee Strack. Hey, Lee, how are you? Welcome. Karen Hummer, watching some Steelers. I get that double duty there. Kind of important. Some of my fantasy football players are on the game tonight as well. So I'll keep up afterwards. Laura Lewis as well. Hey, Laura. Marilyn Sutherland, Mark Taylor, Cindy Heyer. Yes, happy episode 200. I thought about doing something a little bit special. Just ran out of time. We'll do it somewhere down the road for episode 204. Some random something. Now we'll figure out a cool number to celebrate it on. But thank you, Cindy, for that. Marilyn Sutherland, Tim Cox, Michelle Moore, Ma, I just sent you a message a little while ago. Ma, how are you doing? And sorry about those hot pockets. Karen Loveland. Let's see who else we've got here. Paul Long, Brian Hossettler. Brian, how are you, sir? Jeff Nielsen. And yeah, I see some questions. We'll try to get to as many of these as we can. And I think that's about it. Audrey Cobb as well. Anna Wee. Let's see. Colleen and Lynn Gideon. Michelle Moore may have said all right, but I don't mind saying it again. Mike Johnson. Wyatt Garrett. Wyatt, howdy. Marshall Davis. Rita Case. Amy Banner. And I think we'll shut it down right there. If I didn't get to you, sorry about it. Oh, Dominique. All right, Dominique. Welcome to all of you. I love having y'all out here for this season. So I thank y'all all for joining me. All right, let's see what. Check back on here. Hold on, guys. I got a little issue with my my comments. Kath Ant. Nicole Anthony connection, family connection, perhaps. Hi, Cliff. It's Nicole's mom. Well, what are you being for Halloween? I don't know. I could go as a cowboy, right? I don't know. I always had fun. For those of you who didn't see, I've got on my my little teaser for the show dressed up as Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show one time. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, I got to think about that. I've dressed up not for Halloween, but I've dressed up with Nicole and Brian at the little Give Kids the World celebration for the last few years, dressed up as a pirate. That was always a lot of fun. I used to, mid-teens through college as well. I used to dress up. And I put a little into it, man. I would put on the white makeup and do skull face paint, or the Phantom of the Opera coming across and all of that. As a kid, I love science fiction. One of my favorite science fiction shows of all time was Planet of the Apes. And I thought, how cool would it be for me to be able to make a Planet of the Ape mask and walk around looking like a chimpanzee talking to people. I tried to do it with paper mache. Obviously, it didn't quite work out the way it works for the Hollywood folks and all of that. But yeah, that was someday. Hey, if they ever do more I guess they are doing more Planet of the Apes, right? Get me on board. I'd love to be one of those background monkeys runner. That and zombies would be perfect for me. But now the short answer is, I don't know. I may not be. Yeah, I'll dress up as something. Maybe I'll just put a mask on. But we'll be here handing out candy to the kids more so than running around and all of that. So I don't know. I guess it's about that time to think about, right? We'll find out here pretty soon. All right. Before I get to the questions this evening, I did see some questions from last week that I didn't get to. And I try, guys. I try to read through y'all's questions and get to as many as I can. But I realized last week I missed some. I don't want to always just leave people hanging. So I kept track of a few of them I was going to try to answer this week. And then we'll move on to the new questions, right? So I'm trying to make sure I do as much as I can to catch as many of these can. So let me catch a few of the last week's questions, and then we'll move on to all the new fresh stuff. All right, Miss Fire is saying, thoughts on Ainsley? Ainsley's gone. No more Ainsley, right? Ainsley has just tried to destroy the world. Chelsea took, and Mackenzie and all took care of her. I like the twist. I actually, you know what I like about the twist? They actually kept it from the very start of the season to the very end of the season. How many seasons have we had where they had the nether regions from the season before? And I guess that was okay, except for the zombie takeover. I didn't like that at all, but they've had other seasons. This is a Big Brother takeover, and guest hosts would come in, and it went away after 2 or 3 weeks. This season, at least they had a theme throughout the entire season, and I liked it. I like most of the twists. So, Ainsley, you're not going to be missed. I would have voted you out on the first day as well, just like everyone else would have. And now, no more, unless there's a special reindeer games, Ainsley's sleigh bell games or something. Sleigh, SLAY, yeah, Halloween. But no, I think we're done with Ainsley. But I like the twist. It was cool. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Vicky Kimball, Tucker was made for the challenge because everyone is trying to win, not just be on TV. I think you're right. I'd like to see Tucker on the challenge. There's something about him that makes me think he wouldn't jibe well with the rest of the house guests in the challenge. And I don't know why that necessarily is the case. I think he would do fine in terms of the challenges. Those people are so hardcore on the challenge in terms of those competitions. I think Tucker would do fine on that part. You're right. There's not as much strategy. They like people who are hardcore and fighting from start to finish. Would Tucker be willing to go in there and play well, I was going to say play chaos. Yeah, I think he probably would. You get a lot of chaos in there just from the interpersonal relationships. And maybe that would work well. Bring him in and see if he can alienate some of the existing house guests. As hard as he comes in, I think he would try to do the challenge the same way because people would expect him to. Playing hard and saying, you're going down. And I think quickly as a result, he would probably upset the wrong people. Because remember, in the challenge, you've got people who've played season after season after season. They've got long-term alliances. They've got long-term grudges. And I think that Tucker would probably come in too fast and hard. And some of the vets in that show, maybe it's like, yeah, you're out of here, bud. So I don't know how he would do, but I guarantee he would be a lot of fun to watch. Oh, I would love to see him on the challenge. And he may surprise. There are people who have surprised me already on the challenge. Olivia, was she on Love Island, I think? Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Olivia, talk about a badass. And now she's been several seasons and is playing the game and all that. I would not have picked her to do that. I think Tucker would be fun to watch. Who else would you get from this season? Oh, I don't know. Not just this season. From the past few seasons, who else would you get for the challenge? I think Tucker is definitely one of them. I'm trying to think if there's anyone from this season. I can't really think of any. Cameron, maybe from last season, but I think a lot of people would not want. I don't know. It'd be fun to see a few new bloods in the challenge from Big Brother just to keep it going. Get your shot. If you don't make it, they move on to the next season and all of that. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Chaz is saying, thoughts on Dr. Will going on Deal or No Deal Island? Would you do that? I would do it in a heartbeat, and I think I'd be pretty good at Deal or No Deal. There's more. I love the first season. There was a lot more strategy than I thought to it. Building some alliances, also some strategies just in terms of playing the game and all of that. In terms of picking when you want to play, don't play, and all that. Yeah, I'd love to do it. I'm a little envious that Dr. Will gets to do it, but figure Dr. Will, kind of an icon for Big Brother. Boston Rob last season, certainly an icon for Survivor. So very few slots available in Deal or No Deal Island, and not just anyone gets to play on that thing. But yeah, I'd have fun. Hey, I'd be fine picking a briefcase that contains a couple $1 million. Of course, my luck, it'd contain $5 or something, and almost buy me a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Not quite, but yeah, I'd love to do it. It'd be fun, but I'm not really. No, I was gonna say I'm not expecting a call. I don't want to jinx it. Yeah, feel free, NBC or whoever. Is it NBC? Feel free to give me a call. I'll show up on an island. I don't care whether it's Jeff Probst and Survivor or just suitcases filled with millions of dollars. I'll do either one of them. All those suitcases of $1 million sounds pretty good. All right, let's see what else. A final question from last week. Hunter Green, would Big Brother like to see an ex-bull rider like myself on Big Brother? All right, for those of you who know, Hunter reached out to me a couple of times, was asking for some tips on casting and all that. Hunter is a former PBR cowboy. Yeah, time to get another cowboy hat inside the house, Hunter. But Hunter's got some stories to tell. I think Hunter would do pretty well. I think there's some competitions that Hunter could handle pretty well. So yeah, you're in the running. I think you got a great story to tell, and guarantee, Hunter, if you make it on there, we're gonna be cheered for you out on Cliff Notes Live. That'd be so fun. I'm just ready for one of y'all to make it on the show. It's gonna happen. You realize it will happen, right? And someone that watches this show that we know by name is going to end up on Big Brother one of these times, and we are gonna be so excited. We will be a force to be dealt with. Heck, we may all be outside the wall yelling to support whoever it is, and getting in all kinds of trouble. But it'll be a fun kind of trouble. Yeah, Hunter, I think you got a good shot. Just all of you. The only way you don't guarantee don't get cast is if you don't send in the video. As long as you send in a video, there's a chance. There's always that little chance. Someone has to win the lottery. Someone has to get cast. Look at me. I got cast. If I get cast, anyone can get cast. So yeah, and it's cast, not casted. That's the first thing. When you go up there, don't be saying casted. It's all about getting cast. All right. Let's see. So new fresh stuff today. Laura Lewis is saying Pluto TV is showing your season of Big Brother. Every time I go out to Pluto, it's never my season. It's always a season. It's like, okay, that's all right. That's cool. I guess one of these days I'm gonna just have to break down and watch my season. Right? Yeah, eventually. I had a lot of people asking me questions. With my mom passing and meeting a lot of people who I hadn't seen since I did the show and all that, and had a lot of people at the visitation and the funeral, not during the funeral, but afterwards, asking me a lot of questions about what'd you think about this and that. It's like, gosh, I kind of would like to see how they portray that on TV. I don't know. And so it'd be fun. Yeah, maybe we'll do that as some kind of off-season activity. I've mentioned it before. I just have to figure out how I could do it without violating copyrights. I can't have it playing in the background behind me or anything, because CBS would probably complain. So I got to figure out some way to do it where we could watch it together and talk about the show. That'd be kind of cool. A little stressful. I still get stressed out thinking about a lot of that show, the good and the bad, for my season. It's going to always be with me to some degree. I'm going to be 140 years old in some retirement home, and they're going to be saying, Cliff, are you still with us? And I'm going to say, OTEV. I hope those aren't my last words. How horrible would that be? All right. I'll be talking about last words and all that. Mark Taylor, what do you think of Sam's game on Survivor? Sam, remind me which one's Sam. Oh, Sam. I think Sam's playing a fantastic game. See, I'm still trying to get it. When I first saw it, I was thinking Saul, and I was like, no, it's not Saul. I think Sam's playing a great game. I think he has to be careful. There's already people who've basically called him out saying he's trying to run the show and all that. I don't know his relationship between Sam and Andy. Are they going to be able to work together? Are they not going to trust each other enough that one's going to get rid of the other one? I was not a big fan of Andy when he started because I thought he was in over his head. There's no way he needs to be out here. Now I'm starting to see what Jeff Probst and all the casting folks at Survivor saw in Andy. Good or bad, whether he makes it work or not, he's got a little devious streak to him. He's playing an extra level game in terms of wanting to portray himself as a certain way, as a weak person, basically. And yet maybe not nearly as weak as we all thought would be the case. I think it's a brilliant move, especially given the last few seasons where you had someone very early in the game that either I guess it's not self-evicted, quit Survivor, or just gummed it up and didn't do well at all. So with that recent history, it's not a bad idea to come in and try to just be that person this season. And then suddenly you just kind of go under the radar. No one worries about you and you make things happen. So I'm liking Andy. I don't think he wins. I'm really liking Sam. I think Sam is in a very strong position. He just has to be very careful with those relationships, who he can trust. And I don't know. I think I've loved the season so far. The people going home. Some of these folks have been so surprised, so blindsided. It's incredible. So we'll see what happens coming up Wednesday as well. All right, Mark is saying favorite Halloween candy. Oh, first of all, happy National Chocolate Day. Hey, every day's National Chocolate Day for me, but favorite candy. All right, I will say, and I know this is a very divisive opinion. This is right up there with the election coming up next week in terms of dividing people. I really like those candy corns. Yeah, I could eat way too many candy corns and none of these weird flavors. Just give me the standard old orange, white, and yellow, and I'm perfectly happy. And of course, I can't eat candy corns without sticking a couple of them in my front mouth. Hey, look at me, I am. Yeah, my very young nieces and nephews think that's funny. The rest of them just think, goofy Cliff doing this stuff. But I love candy corns during Halloween. That's my special. The rest of the year, I like chocolate, but you know what my go-to is, and it kills me because they're not making anymore. Willy Wonka's everlasting gobstoppers. Now, not like from the movie. I'd play Big Brother for one of those gobstoppers. No, these were the little ones, the little mini jawbreakers that they sold in the yellow boxes forever and ever. They stopped making them. I don't know if it's because they're choking hazards or I just ran them out of business because I ate so many of them. I asked for some of those in my Big Brother basket, and they wouldn't give them to me. And all I can think is, I don't know, maybe they thought they'd make too much noise with me crunching on them or something, but I really like everlasting gobstoppers, and they don't make them anymore. So now I got to move on to something else. But yeah, certainly during Halloween season, it's the candy corns. The rest of the year, it's gobstoppers. And now that I don't have those, and Easter time, those Cadbury cream eggs. Yeah, those get me in trouble. That's what gave me the girlish figure that I've got right now is too many Cadbury cream eggs. I like rich type foods and desserts and all that. Y'all tell me, what's your favorite? I'm not a big fan of Peeps in Easter time. Yeah, a little too marshmallow for me, but the chocolates work well. I remember as a kid, I would get from the Easter Bunny chocolate covered, or not chocolate covered, chocolate Easter bunnies. And do y'all remember, it was always this big question when I get that an Easter bunny, chocolate bunny for Easter. Is it hollow or is it solid? If it was hollow, I always felt like it was a little bit of the Easter bunny ripping me off. It's like, well, there's not actually that much chocolate because it's all air inside. But when it was a solid chocolate bunny, oh, that was the good times. You can chew on those things for days on end and still have chocolate left over. I remember that. So yeah, there you go. So a lot of chocolate here and there. Karen Loveland is saying my 69th birthday is Saturday. Well, congratulations, Karen. Let me be one of the first to wish you most amazing, fantastical, happy birthday. And it's on Saturday. weekend birthday's always a special kind of cool, in my opinion, because you just get to celebrate. Don't have to. Lots of times, some people work on weekends. I recognize that, but for the most part, a little more chill sometimes when you celebrate a birthday on a Saturday night. So, congratulations! I hope you do something fun. Make sure you make it fun. Act a little silly, and in the show, I won a few competitions, and I always had my little victory move. Do one just for your birthday, and I'll do one for you as well. So now, happy birthday to you! And it's 69. Yeah, perfect age. Congratulations, my friend. I'm working my way there as well. So congratulations on that. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Jeff Nielsen saying, what do you think of a shortened Big Brother season? 10 weeks, start with 16 house guests, every week a double eviction. After week 4, the 6 evicted house guests have a bad luck. I'd love it. Now, let's see, 10 weeks. I'm perfectly fine with 10 weeks, however you do it. Some additional double evictions. Heck, make one of them a triple eviction or something. I was going to say the only fear I would have is I don't know if I would want that forever, because then we lose some of our Big Brother. But as much as I griped over the last 2 weeks of this current season, how boring it got. Yeah, if you need to shorten it, go for it. I have no problem with that at all, because you've got a lot of dead time in this one. Yeah, I think you could tighten up the deal. Now, here's the deal. CBS is paying for content. If instead of 13 weeks, they only get 10 weeks, that's 3 weeks they're missing, 3 episodes per week. That's 9 episodes, 9 hours of Big Brother that CBS doesn't have. CBS pays less to Endemol, Fly on the Wall, the people who do Big Brother. They give them less money if they have less hours to show on TV. And so as a result, I think that's one of the reasons Big Brother always has that recap episode, which I'm not a huge fan of. And they kind of stretch it out a lot more than they need to. So realistically, I don't know that they're going to do that unless it was a very special situation, like a special fall season or something like that. But yeah, I would love to have them do that. If they want to keep it 13 weeks, I expand out the first part, have an extra battle back or two. Heck, bring in 18 house guests instead of 16. That'd be rough, wouldn't it? They've done it before, I think. But do things like that and still reduce the last few weeks into just a single week. And I would be perfectly happy. So yeah, I don't have a problem with 13 weeks for Big Brother. I just wish that the last little bit wasn't lasting as long as it did. Delay everything a couple of weeks and do something a little bit different for a while. I have nothing else that would shake up the house guests who think and many times know what to expect, when to expect the double, when to expect this or that, because the formula is so much the same every single season. They had, was it season 8? I think it was 8 with Evil Dick and Danielle and everything, where they brought in 4 extra house guests. The house guests thought they had it all figured out, and then they brought in some extra people. You could do that again. Have 16 people on there, and then suddenly you have an extra 4 show up. Watch 20 people trying to survive in that house with a single toilet. You may have a few people self-evict. 20 would be a lot in that house. You could get rid of 1 or 2 in the first couple of weeks, though. 1 or 2 extra, and do some kind of battle back. Yeah, there's ways you can make it work. All right, let's see. Karen Hummer saying, you have an interesting life. Yeah, life kind of chases me around and does crazy things, or maybe I don't know. I think I embrace craziness sometimes in my life, which is funny because you say that. And yes, I just, between some of the travels I've done around the world and me just doing goofy stuff just to keep life interesting. Yeah, there's crazy stuff. But then again, I got my wife and kids and a regular old job. There is a very standard, basic family man type person. Y'all just don't see it as much on here, because here, we're here having a little bit of fun. But yes, I have led an interesting life in a lot of ways. But part of that's because I haven't worried sometimes about where life's taken me. Life can take very weird passages in different directions, and it's got to go with the flow. I am Big Brother. Yeah, you want me on the show? Sure, I'll go on the show. You want me to fly to Nigeria or Japan or something? Yeah, sure. Put me on a plane. I'll go figure out when I get over there. So yeah, I guess one of these days I'll write a book. Well, I don't know. My poor descendants. I was gonna say write a book so they know what I'm all about. they only have right now 200 freaking hours worth of watching me talk. I could see my great great grandkids one day. Kids, your great 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 granddad from 150 years ago did a little show on a thing called YouTube. That was before holograms and all. And the kids said, "Oh God, it's like black and white picture. Don't make us watch that guy again. He's some old dude talking forever and I wouldn't stop talking." So yeah, I'd like to think that they'll tell goofy stories about their weird this ancestor Cliff, but they may just say, yeah, he's just weird. Let's move on to something else. All right. Michelle Mills is saying, did your season get crazy afterwards? Did you get caught up in the drama? No, and we did have a little drama. I mean, we had some showmances that blew up. We had some people who were in certain showmances and then moved on to different showmances. We had some accusations made. We had some people on a group chat who said really dumb things. And then of course that stuff got leaked. Fortunately, I was not caught up on any of that. I don't think so, because the showmances, not my thing. I'm back home with Sharon, doing the COVID stuff. So we're just home watching the Tiger King and things like that. But yeah, and then the group chat I was not part of, and I'm kind of grateful for that as well. So no, I didn't get caught up in it. There are a few of us that were able to avoid all the drama. Nicole and myself and Ovi. I think the ones that y'all would probably expect not to get a lot of that kind of stuff going on. But we had a little bit of drama. But having said that, for the most part, people interact with each other now. There's a few people who still have hurt feelings. Not me. I had 15 Big Brother family members in that house, and all 15 of them are welcome to come to my house. I'd have dinner with any one of them at any time and talk about all kinds of stuff. Not every one of my seasons quite so comfortable with everyone else, but it's Big Brother takes 16 people of very different mentalities and characteristics and attitudes and everything else, puts us all together. You can't expect that everyone's always going to get along with everyone else. And that happens every single season. I do feel like here lately, you've got people who are trying to extend their 15 minutes or 10 minutes of fame or whatever it is, extend it a little bit further. And other people, I don't know. I don't know how much of some of this stuff is people just trying to create drama. I think some of it's legitimate and all that. I think some is just people trying to extend the attention just a little bit further in terms of what they do and everything else. But yeah, we had a little drama, but maybe not as much as some folks had. I don't know. There's a story or two I could tell y'all, but maybe not tonight. All right, Lynn Gidding is saying, I like the house guests couldn't stand Janky, but appalled at this brutal demise. I really don't think production thought that they were going to respond that way. I think production truly thought that they would all be cheering at Janky going away the way he did and everything, just because they thought he'd be tied into the backyard and all that. Janky was cool. Janky was like a really warped and really devious Pikachu or something. I mean, he was. How could you be upset at Janky, even with his janky music and his janky backyard and everything? I have noticed, and Sharon's doing the same thing. I've realized I'm using the word janky a whole lot more than I ever used it before this summer. Webster's going to have a new entry into the dictionary. Janky, a character from Big Brother that influenced everyone's speech patterns for the next 4 or 5 years in the United States. I don't know, janky everything going on around the world right now. So yeah, it's janky. You're still with me, if only in thought and word, if nothing else. But yeah, I kind of felt bad when Janky got beat down by Ainsley and turned off or deactivated or whatever. You don't do that. Janky, you know who Janky reminds me of? Janky reminds me of Dobby from Harry Potter. Kind of a pain sometimes, probably getting you in more trouble than gets you out of. But at the end, his heart's there. You know that he's has the best of intentions. You just sometimes want him to just chill out and shut down. So in some ways, maybe I can relate to Janky, because I have a feeling sometimes people say the same thing about me. So yeah, Dobby, Janky, and Cliff Hogg, we all understand. We all appreciate each other. I like Janky and I like Dobby too. And I like Harry Potter. All right. Janet Johnson is saying, do you use the exact same jury house for every season of Big Brother? I don't know, Janet, because one, because I never went to the jury house because I was evicted fourth and that was too late in the season. So I didn't get to use the jury house. But even if I had, I don't know what the other seasons house guests have used, if it's the same house. I think it is a possibility that they use the same house for a lot of seasons. I don't know if it's every season, and I'm sure it's probably not from seasons 10 years earlier and all that, but I think recent seasons, there's a good chance that it's probably the same. Holly, who was at not Holly, maybe it was Holly or Sis, I can't remember, but Holly, I think, knew about it. They went somewhere. There was some kind of party there, and I don't remember if it was just a private residence or it was some kind of a product marketing type something, but they actually went to a party or an event at that house later after our season ended, and the house was still there and she got to see it and all of that. So I think that house that they use, it's somewhere up in the Hollywood Hills. And I think it's used for a lot of things. I think it may have been used for one or two of the Bachelor seasons, for our jury house. And I don't know. Don't be posting on Entertainment Tonight or something that I said that, because I don't know, or TMZ. I don't know if it was used for a Bachelor. I think it's used for a lot of different TV shows and events and things like that. But I never went there. So yeah, no fancy cement ponds in the backyard for me. Nah, I didn't have any of that stuff. I went straight from the Big Brother house to the sequester spot right before we voted on who deserved the money from our season. So I never got to go there. Kind of miss it, but I'm not so much. I'm still glad I stayed in the house as long as I did. All right, Karen Hummer is saying, have you made any new smoothie flavors lately? Ice cream. Oh, I want to. Forget the new flavors. I still want to do the pickle and the macaroni and cheese. I made it. I've got YouTube video of me with those flavors, but I was going to do it live on this show, so y'all could all see my reactions when I tried it. And then the hurricane hit. We lost power for a week, and just between you and me, I'm not sure that pickle ice cream tastes any better melted than it probably tasted solid. It certainly had a distinct odor to it. I'm not sure how vinegar and heavy cream necessarily work together. It could have been very interesting, but no, I have not. It's just between the hurricane that hit in July and then Big Brother season going on, and then just as Big Brother season is wrapping up, I have the family issues with my mom. It's just been a crazy 4 or 5 months. I barely have time to take a breath, it seems like sometimes. So no, I have not done it, but I appreciate the reminder. That's going to be part of our off season here on Cliff Notes Live. Is, I don't know, maybe I'll make a different flavor every week or something. Get y'all to vote. We'll put a poll out there. Who thinks it's going to taste good, taste not so good, and then we'll say. Thinking of it, pickles, macaroni and cheese, two interesting ice cream flavors. How about candy corn? I think candy corn would maybe be okay. Vanilla base with a little candy corn mixed in. I think I could do that. Hey, Ben and Jerry's, give me a call. I got a new flavor for you. I think we can make something happen here. Yeah, I'd be all right with that. Yeah, I need to do that. I'm gonna start doing that. I just haven't had a chance to so far. Maybe I'll save some of that candy corn from Thursday. All right, Angie Hung is saying, happy 200. Well, thank you so much, Angie. I appreciate it. Been sick for a while, thus me being here tonight. Well, I'm sorry that you've been sick. That is never. There are a lot of sick people that sounds the wrong way. There are a lot of people who've been ill, it seems like, everywhere. I guess up in Canada, just like down here in the States. COVID maybe making a little bit of a comeback. People with just flu and colds and all kinds of yucky stuff. I guess that's just what happens as you start getting the cold temps and everything coming in. Hey, it's getting cold down here in Texas. It was 80 degrees today. Yeah, we still have a little summer going on here, but Angie, I am sorry that you've been under the weather. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better, and I'm glad that it maybe allows you to come out here. I guess you didn't have gymnastics tonight, so at least you get to come out here and hang with us, and that's always special. So thank you. I'm sorry you're sick, but glad you're spending your downtime with us as well. All right, I got a picture I'm gonna send you, Angie. Chuck Wagon Races Houston style. I'll show the rest of y'all next week maybe, but I got a picture for you, Angie. All right, Mark Taylor saying, any Halloween pranks in the Hog household? Oh, we've we've done a few pranks over the years. Absolutely. Lots of them, especially when my kids were a little bit younger. Lots of things, acting like you're a dummy in a rocking chair, and then you come alert and things like that. Let me tell y'all one story. And this may talk about divisiveness of candy corn. This may be a little divisive as well. Uh, I'm a little bit of a prankster, but I didn't just come up with it all on my own. I may have had a little assistance from my parents who had a little prankster in them as well. Let me go back to a time when I was probably 11 years old or so. My brother Robert was 10 years old, plus or minus the two of us. And of course, back then, everyone, you'd go get so much candy back then, and you'd just go from house to house, load up to the point that you almost needed to come drop off and go back out again. A lot of candy being distributed back then. But the big fear was someone's doing something horrible to the candy. Yeah, you got the old crazy neighbor that we all thought he was just a nice, normal guy, but then he put horrible things in the candy. And so no one could eat any candy until you got back and you had a chance for your parents to inspect it. You could take it down to the fire station and they'd x-ray it and all this and that. And we kids back then used to just scare each other to death just by talking about these serial killer neighbors that were just waiting for some way to sabotage these old kids by doing something crazy to their candy. So that's the background. So of course, my brother and I get back home, and we'd been trick-or-treating with a couple other guys. I remember at one point it was my brother Robert, myself, and a guy named Alan who came up to a house. The person, a very nice, friendly little old lady that, the friendliest person, the kind that later we went and mowed her yard whenever we had a chance. Just your nice little old lady neighbor gave us apples. We were probably not as enthusiastic about apples as we were Three Musketeers and Snickers and Butterfingers and things like that. But thank you, Mrs. Who you are, and we appreciate the apples and happy Halloween to you. And we walked off, and okay, whatever. So we get back home and have to inspect all our different candies. Well, as my parents cut into my brother Robert's apple, lo and behold, stuck right in the middle of this apple is a razor blade. Yeah, the kid's worst nightmare come true. Oh my God, the friendliest little lady in our whole neighborhood, and she's trying to kill kids by putting razor blades in their apples. And we're having a meltdown. Oh my God, what have we eaten that? Oh, thank you, Mom and Dad, for making us check out the candy for I could have killed us. Oh my God, we got to call the police on this. She's trying to kill us with a razor blade and an apple. Oh, who would have thought? My brother is going crazy. We've got to call Alan. We've got to call Alan. What if he eats the apple? It's like Nightmare on Elm Street calling, do not fall asleep. What? Do not fall asleep. And he's screaming, call Alan, call Alan. And my parents are like, yeah, well, maybe I'll go down and visit with her first. No, you got to call Alan. Yeah. And then eventually they start laughing. And yes, indeed, my parents had put the razor blade in the apple just to watch us panic, just to teach us a lesson, just in case we had maybe eaten a few pieces of candy on the way home. And we had, of course we had. Chocolate over all of our mouths probably showed us that. But yes, so my parents actually fed into the worst fears of every kid on Halloween night and just made it that much worse. Now, looking back, I can laugh about it and think that's pretty funny. And something that I maybe would have done, except that Sharon, the better half of this relationship, would never have let me do that. And I probably thank her. My kids thank her for that. But looking back, I kind of laugh about it as well. So long story, I know. But that's almost one of my favorite pranks of Halloween, just because it was such a basic prank, and yet it got our attention so much. I'll never forget. Think, oh my God, I don't know that we ever looked at her. Poor, this little lady didn't even know what was going on. And yet for forever from that point on, we'd walk by her house and think, whoa, what if she had put a razor blade in there? We never looked at her the same way again. All right, moving on. Sorry, I took way too long for that. Michelle Mills is saying, will you and your cast get residual checks now that Pluto is showing your season? Yeah, right. No, we don't get the residual checks. We didn't get. We got a stipend for being on the show. I got a little extra for lasting as long as I did. Oh, we don't get squat. No, it doesn't matter how many times they show it on there. They showed my picture on this season a couple of times. They showed a little clip this season. Yeah, I don't get anything. Pluto doesn't pay us anything. You sign your life away when you sign a contract with Big Brother, with Endemol Fly on the Wall Production. You basically say, you can do whatever you want with my likeness, with my pictures, with my name. You do whatever you want. Not only do I not get paid for it, I also don't have any control over it. You can put horns on my head. You can say the most horrible things about it, and I can't do a thing about it. No, they have all. Who's not going to sign? Who is going to be approached and say, hey, look, we want you on the show, but you got to sign this contract giving away all your rights. And nah, I'm not interested. Now we all sign it, and they know it. They got us over the barrel. So now, no residual checks. Now I know there's a few reality people who have said, oh, we ought to try to get together and see if we can't put some pressure. There's way more people who want to be on reality TV than they need. So we'll never have any power. You just accept it. That's just the way it is. All right, Tim Kotz. Tim, thank you so much, sir. He says, happy 200. So glad to see Rome's exit on Survivor. What do you think? Rome was, first of all, thank you for the super stamp. I absolutely appreciate the support. I truly do. Rome was fun. Yes, if I'm on that island, boot his rear end. He's too cocky. He's trying too hard to control the game. Yeah, and as a viewer, I'm okay with him going. And then nothing against him. He just was playing the game hard. He was trying to play the game too hard, and it came back and bit him. He was trying to manipulate too many people. People are always going to compare notes, whether you're talking Big Brother or Survivor. When you start telling different people different things, when you start spinning stories to different people, you better either do it very short term where you can get some actions taken quick enough that you can get someone out before they have time to dispute your fact checks and all of that, or else you're going to get caught. I know I was very careful about that when I was in the house. I was trying to create a wedge between Mickey and Christy because I saw that as the best way to potentially break up that big alliance. But I never outright lied to either one of them in terms of what was said. I just spun it a little bit differently. When I talked to Christy, I'd say, yeah, Mickey's talking a lot about you and all of that and saying a few things. And Christy, yeah, or Mickey, yeah, Christy did say that if somewhere down the road she would maybe get rid of you. I just was very careful because I knew at some point if I wasn't careful, they would come back and compare notes and maybe come after me. So you got to be careful about saying things without really saying things. And I don't think Rome did that. He was oblivious to the fact that he wasn't the only game in town. So I was happy to see him go only because it was yet another blind side that was good to see. But in terms of TV and all that, hey, and he got to sit in Jeff Probst's seat. He'll remember that for that's kind of cool. I thought he was a good game player. I could see why they cast him, but yeah, I'm okay with him going. Let's see what some of the other people can do now that they're kind of out from under his shadow. If for no other reason, I'm a big fan of Saul, and I think that Saul just had enough of Rome, and Rome wasn't letting Saul play his game. So now I want to see if Saul can kind of recover and do some things going forward. We'll find out. We'll find out here real quick. We'll find out here in a couple of days, right? All right. Hunter Green is saying, going to bring crazy rodeo stories in the Big Brother house. They'll love that. And then Hunter's also saying, the Texas Killing Fields was in my parents' backyard in League City. All right. Yeah, the Texas Killing Fields. For those of you who aren't aware, League City, just south of here, there's a road there. And just look up Texas Killing Fields. There's a road there. A lot of young women were killed there. They suspect a serial killer, a few serial killers right off the highway, easy to dispose of. Creepy stuff. Yeah, we got our share of wild and scary and insane folks that live here in this state, just like every other state. I think I drive next to a bunch of them based on how they drive some of their vehicles as well in Houston. But yes, we had that. Don't tell that story, Hunter. Stick with your rodeo stories. That'll go over a lot better. If you start telling the Texas Killing Field serial killer stories while you're in the Big Brother house, you know who's going to be the next person labeled with the crazy eyes, right? Yeah, it's not going to be because of It's gonna be because they're gonna look at you as the creepy guy who spends way too much time thinking about serial killers. Now your bull rider stories, anything to do with rodeo, that's what, and this goes for all of y'all. Now I know not all of y'all are rodeo cowboys, but each and every one of y'all have something that you have done in life that makes you stand out from everyone else. And you may not know exactly what it is, but trust me, there's something. You just need to come up with it. Something that makes you stand out a little bit, the way you look at life, some of the things you've experienced. There's something that makes you a little different from everyone else in this entire wide world. And if you tell stories about that, if you can make the casting folks aware of it, that's what gets you on the show. So yeah, Hunter, if you got some rodeo stories, they'll eat that up. Don't wait until you get inside the Big Brother house. I told more stories while I was in casting, talking to people. They would sit me down and have me talking all these big wigs and all that, and I would talk. I was like Rocky Balboa, the fighter, except instead of fighting, I was talking. They couldn't get me to stop. Didn't matter who was watching. It doesn't matter. I would just talk until they finally said, get out of here. We got enough. Thank you very much, Cliff. And I'd still talk as I was walking out the door. You've got to show the casting folks that you've got something different and you're willing to share it with anyone and everyone, because at the end of the day, it's a shared experience on Big Brother. You've got to have things that people are going to be interested in, and you got all of y'all got them. You just have to figure out what it is. All right, Ma is saying, I don't want to share a toilet with 20 people. No, thank you. Yeah, 16 people was, well, I guess not 16, 15, because you always share it with yourself. But that was hard. I will admit it didn't necessarily scare me. I lived in a dorm in college. I had to share a very rudimentary toilet. It was back in the day. Our shower was just one big open shower. There was no stall there. Even the toilet stalls didn't have doors or sides or anything. It just, God, I feel like old school when I say it. So, but no, I saw whatever. I'll fit in with whatever I have to do. It is what it is. But yes, I get that, and it was very weird. Not just having to share a toilet with 15 other people. Yeah, you get used to it after. Unfortunately, you get used to it. But the fact that they would sit in there, that they would sit just on the other side of the door and tell stories and talk and act like you're not in there taking care of business, it's just strange. And I think in some ways it shows me that we as humans can adjust to anything after a while. But hey, I will say, it's one of the reasons I got up early in the morning, earlier than anyone else. So I had a little more private time to not feel like I was having to share a toilet with 15 other people. That was hard. It was, thank God to Kat Dunn, who actually was proactive enough to bring a whole box of poopery scented stuff into the house with her. She was thinking ahead. She did well. Yeah, it's weird, Ma. But hey, people will do a whole lot of stuff for $750,000 now. But yeah, it was weird. And don't be singing songs about it. My season, all I could do is sing songs about the poop couch and different bathroom songs. I don't need to hear that stuff. Different generation, I guess. All right. Misfire saying, did you watch The Anonymous on USA? No, it's on my bucket list. That may be a little strong. It's on my to-do list. I just haven't had a chance to yet, but I've heard so many good things. Anonymous, I'm watching The Summit, and I love The Summit. I'm watching The Floor with Rob Lowe. I think that's on Fox. I love that as well. But Anonymous, I want to watch. I want to get caught back up on the last season of The Circle. House of Villains, I think looks like it could be interesting as well. And I'm still going to go back and watch the old Joe Schmo show just because. And I'm watching The Challenge. I forgot about The Challenge. How could you forget about that? I took a break from The Challenge for a couple of seasons. Just there were too many different seasons, too many different versions of it all at once. Well, now I'm back onto it, watching on. I watched a show last night while I was doing some work and things like that on Telemundo or Televisión, one of the two Spanish channels, Los Cincuentas, the 50. It's a show just like Survivor, as best I can tell. That they're doing a lot of challenges and eliminating people and all that. I think that Josh Martinez is going to be on the 50. I know he's doing a Spanish language reality show, and I think it may be the 50. So I was watching that. I watched the Spanish language TV channels off and on just to help me practice my Spanish sometimes. Let me see how much I can interpret and pick up on what they're saying and all that. And plus, some of those telenovelas are kind of, you don't need to necessarily speak the language to figure out what's going on in some of those telenovelas. And you talk about dramatic and over the top, put some of those people in a Big Brother house. And you'll absolutely have some drama and chaos. But yeah, I like those Spanish language channels. We got a lot of them down here in Houston. I love the diversity that we've got down here. But yeah, I watch this. I mean, I watched the 50 Las Cincuentas last night, and it was fun. They play dramatic music in the background while people are getting eliminated, and just have a lot of fun with it. All right, 7:56. We're getting towards the end here. All right, let's see. Ken T is saying Big Brother has really evolved with social media. I've seen some house guests on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Yeah, and I don't know if that's for better or worse. I mean, it's just a natural progression. Social media is so much part of our lives. We'd be crazy not to think that reality TV isn't going to go along with it. They go hand in hand. But I do think sometimes it limits gameplay. Sometimes it brings out the worst in people after seasons, fans and reality TV people both. It's just a lot of stuff that a lot of it just irritates me. I mean, it's positive. And here I am saying that while I'm on a YouTube channel. So yeah. Hello, my name's Mr. Hypocrite. But no, I try to keep it positive when I do this show. Not everyone keeps it positive on social media. And I think we all have to be careful. The social media can be a really depressing place to be for a lot of people. And I wish that wasn't the case, but welcome to the new world. Yeah, and TikTok, I haven't quite figured out TikTok, but I know those youngsters say it's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time out there, primarily Instagram and Twitter and all that. X. Sorry, Elon. X. Yeah, I'll still call it Twitter. All right, let's see what else do we have on here. Don't get mad at me, Elon, please. Boston Gamer. Boston, I like that login name. You should have won season 21. Well, thank you. I tried, and I stand by that. You're a damn good player. Respect. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'll say this, Boston Gamer. I can't say it the way you probably do. I will say this. Criticize the moves I made in the game or not. But I hope no one out there ever thinks that I ever did anything except try my 100% dangest to win Big Brother. Man, I wanted to. I tried. There was no quit or surrender in me. I did what I could. The decisions I made, every single one was based on what I thought was going to get me just that much closer to the prize at the end. And I came so close. There was a time where early in the season, I thought, gosh, I'm just surviving week to week. If I make it to jury, I'm going to be incredibly amazed because it doesn't seem like I'm even going to make it that far. And then suddenly, right about the time of Taco Tuesday and the Alliance blowing up, and probably right after I survived that vote where it was me and Kat on the block together, once I survived that, I started seeing a path. I started thinking, it is possible based on the relationships I've built and the dynamics in this house. It is possible I could go to the very end at this point in time. That's probably when I first started thinking about it. At the end, I stand by the fact I just needed to win one more challenge. I was one win short of being able to control what I needed to do to get to the very end. It didn't happen. Laugh and move on. I gave it a good shot, but thank you. I appreciate the support. There were some good players in that house, and I'd like to think I left my mark and made some impact as well. Way too many times the older person goes home way too early. At least I didn't do that. I fought my way to the very end and came so close. But it was how much fun would I have had if it was Nicole and I in the final two chairs? It's what we wanted. There's no way I wouldn't have taken her to the end. I hope there's no way that she wouldn't have not taken me. She would have taken me. But the two of us sitting there together, I just would have been golden. Yeah. Sometimes life works out perfectly. More often than not, it doesn't. And you adjust and you move on. All right. 8:00. I think with that, we'll probably need to shut it down. Let's see. Chaz saying most important advice for a new house guest. Very quickly. Information is gold. Don't be running your mouth. Whether it's a twist that you own, a power that you have, or someone told you something, you don't need to tell anyone else in the house. I don't care how much the diary room may think it's great if you tell someone. Don't tell anyone else in the house. Use that as a weapon, that information. Wait until it's advantageous to reveal it and do that. Yeah. Here, the other bit of advice I give, and then we'll move on, is that it sounds cliche that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. People say that all the time. What is it? Tucker said, "Oh, well, I sprint marathons." Yeah, no, you don't. You drew not realize until you're in there, until you've gone through the season, how long 99 days is. You can't play the game like Frenchie did and try to, or Quinn to some degree, but mainly Frenchie. You can't try to get your whole checklist of things you want to do done in the very first week. You gotta realize this is going to be a long-term deal. You got to adapt and just adjust from start to finish. That's maybe the biggest advice is you got to be flexible in that house. Pivot on a dime when you need to. All right, guys, with that, we're going to shut it down. Happy Halloween to y'all on Thursday. Stay safe. Inspect your apples before you take a bite into them. But more importantly than that, watch out for cars if you're walking. If you're driving, watch out for little kiddos who may not be paying attention at all. So please be safe, each and every one of you. Halloween, for those of you going out to Halloween parties, be careful with all the things that could not go well. And y'all know, just be safe, because I want y'all all back here next Monday night as well. I'll finish up a big old happy Halloween, and I'll also mention SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love you guys. Love Halloween, love me some candy corns. I never even told y'all about Rocky Horror and my Halloween costumes. Maybe we'll do a part 2 next week after Halloween's over. Until then, guys, have a great one. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notification, big old thumbs up. For those of you celebrating birthdays, happy birthday. For those of you feeling ill, I hope you're feeling better. I'll see all of y'all next Monday. Until then, cheers, my friends. Now I'm in the mood for some candy corns. See y'all later, guys.